You know what's strange? Most people think the biggest financial milestone is reaching $20,000. They imagine that once they finally save that amount, they'll feel successful, secure, maybe even wealthy. But that's actually not the most important thing that happens. The really interesting part starts after, because the moment you cross that line, something unexpected begins to happen. And it's not just your bank account that changes. Your decisions change. Your confidence changes. The opportunities around you change. And perhaps most importantly, time itself starts feeling different. Now, before we get into why this happens, think about something for a second. Imagine two people. Both have steady jobs. Both earn similar incomes. Both started with nothing. One finally reaches $20,000 in savings. The other never quite gets there. Fast forward 10 years. The gap between them isn't small. It's enormous. And the strange part is that the difference often has very little to do with income. It starts with what happens immediately after that first milestone. Because reaching $20,000 is not really a money achievement. It's an identity achievement. Think about what it actually takes to save that amount. You have to spend less than you earn, repeatedly, month after month. You have to ignore distractions, resist impulse purchases, delay rewards, stay consistent when progress feels invisible. Most people focus on the number, but the number is not the valuable part. The habits are. The discipline required to save $20,000 is often the exact discipline required to build $200,000. The account balance is visible. The behavior change isn't. But that's the part that matters most. And here's where things get interesting. Once you've saved your first $20,000, your brain starts collecting evidence. Evidence that you're capable. Evidence that long-term thinking works. Evidence that your future can look different from your present. Before that point, saving money feels like an experiment. After that point, it feels like proof. And proof changes everything. But this is only the first shift. The second shift is even more powerful. Because once you have $20,000, money stops being something you're only protecting. It becomes something you're growing. Imagine planting a tree. When it's a tiny seedling, almost all the growth depends on you. You water it, protect it, take care of it. Miss enough days and it dies. But eventually, the roots become strong. Now the tree starts helping itself. It absorbs more water, produces more energy, grows faster than before. Your money works the same way. When you have $1,000 invested, market growth feels almost invisible. A good year might buy you dinner, maybe a weekend trip, nothing life-changing. But when your investments reach larger numbers, something psychological happens. The growth becomes noticeable. You start seeing gains that once required weeks of work, not because you're smarter, not because you found a secret strategy, simply because the base got bigger. The engine finally has enough fuel to matter. And that's when many people experience a realization they'll never forget. For the first time, money starts showing up from places other than their paycheck. It's a small amount at first, but it changes how they think forever. Because now they know another system exists, a system where effort still matters, but isn't the only source of progress. Now here's where most people underestimate what happens after $20,000. The biggest benefit isn't investment returns, it's optionality. In other words, choices. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, every decision feels urgent. Every mistake feels expensive. Every surprise feels dangerous. You don't choose freely. You choose based on necessity. But once you have a meaningful financial cushion, life starts looking different. A toxic job becomes easier to leave. A better opportunity becomes easier to pursue. A temporary setback becomes easier to survive. The same world exists around you, but your relationship to risk changes, and that changes your behavior. Imagine standing on a frozen lake. If the ice is thin, every step feels terrifying. You move carefully, slowly. You avoid taking chances. But if the ice is thick enough, you walk differently. The environment hasn't changed. Your confidence has. That's exactly what savings does. It thickens the ice beneath your life. And when people feel safer, they often make better long-term decisions, which creates even better outcomes. This is one reason wealth tends to accelerate. Not because wealthy people are magically different, but because financial stability gives them room to think beyond immediate survival. And that leads to another transformation that nobody talks about. You stop obsessing over small financial decisions. Think back to a time when money felt tight. You probably spent energy debating tiny purchases. Should you buy the cheaper option? Skip the coffee? Wait, another week? Every dollar demanded attention. But after building a strong foundation, something shifts. You realize the biggest financial outcomes rarely come from tiny decisions. They come from major ones. Your career, your investments, your housing choices, your savings rate. These decisions create the largest changes over time. So instead of managing pennies, you start managing direction. And direction matters far more than perfection. In fact, this may be one of the most valuable lessons money can teach. Wealth isn't usually built through hundreds of perfect decisions. It's built through a handful of very important ones, made consistently, over long periods of time. Now let's talk about the hidden effect that surprises almost everyone: momentum. When people imagine wealth building, they picture a straight line. Save money, invest money, repeat. But real progress rarely looks like that. It looks more like pushing a giant flywheel. At first, nothing seems to happen. You push, and push, and push. The wheel barely moves. It's frustrating, slow, almost discouraging. Then eventually, something changes. The wheel starts helping you. Each rotation creates another. Momentum begins doing part of the work. The effort doesn't disappear, but the results become larger. And that's exactly what many people experience after reaching $20,000. The first stage was proving they could push. The next stage is watching momentum show up. And once momentum arrives, progress starts feeling completely different. Not easy, but different. Because now every dollar saved joins thousands of others already moving in the same direction. Every investment gain compounds on previous gains. Every smart decision strengthens the next one. Small advantages begin stacking, and stacking, and stacking. Until one day, you look back and realize something incredible. The thing that once felt impossible has become normal. That's why everything changes even more after $20,000. Not because the number itself is magical, but because it marks the moment when multiple forces start working together. Discipline, confidence, opportunity, compounding, momentum. Individually, they're powerful. Together, they're transformative. The first $20,000 proves you can build wealth. Everything after it proves wealth can begin building itself. And once you understand that difference, you'll never look at that milestone the same way again.